She is mad you cut contact. My beloved child, the silence you chose was not small, and she felt it the moment you pulled away. You didn't announce it. You didn't explain it. You simply vanished from the rhythm she depended on, and that absence hit harder than any argument ever could. While you were reclaiming your peace, something inside her began to shake. She keeps replaying the last messages, the last laugh, the last moment she thought she still had access to you. Don't skip. Because what I'm about to reveal explains why her anger isn't loud, why it's sharp, controlled, and growing. Something huge is waiting for you at the end of this message, and it changes how you see everything that comes next. She is mad because your silence exposed a truth she never prepared to face. You were not just a presence, you were stability. When you cut contact, the power shifted, and she felt it immediately. Anger rose because control slipped. She tells herself she's fine, yet her mind circles back to you at the quietest hours. She wonders if you moved on faster than she expected, if your peace came too easily without her. Stay till the end, because this anger isn't about pride. It's about loss. And loss does something dangerous. It wakes people up to what they undervalued when it was still within reach. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime revelation most people never understand: your absence became a mirror. In it, she saw her own mistakes without you softening the edges. She is mad because your boundary worked. Because you didn't chase. Because you didn't explain yourself. Because you chose yourself, and that decision echoes louder than any confrontation. Don't skip now, this is the moment everything turns. When someone gets angry at your silence, it means your presence mattered more than they ever admitted. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with this truth. Cutting contact didn't end the story, it activated the part she can no longer ignore. Listen closely, because what you don't see happening right now is more powerful than anything she could say out loud. After you cut contact, she didn't just feel anger, she felt exposed. Your silence removed the stage she was used to standing on. No reactions. No reassurance. No emotional access. And that absence forced her to sit alone with thoughts she had been avoiding for a long time. Don't skip. Because this is where the story deepens. While you moved forward, she started spiraling backward, replaying moments she once dismissed, now realizing they mattered more than she allowed herself to believe. Here is the truth most people never tell you: she expected you to come back. She expected curiosity to pull you toward her again, expected time to soften your decision. But when days passed and nothing changed, frustration turned into anger. Not because you were wrong, but because you were strong. Your quiet became a message she couldn't argue with. Stay till the end, because this is important. Her anger is mixed with disbelief. She never thought she would be the one wondering. She never imagined being on the outside of your life, questioning your next move instead of predicting it. And now comes the shift, the moment something huge is waiting for you. Her anger is not pushing her away from you, it's pulling her toward awareness. Awareness of what she lost access to. Awareness of the version of you that no longer bends. Awareness that your absence didn't weaken you, it elevated you. Don't skip this final truth. When someone gets mad after you cut contact, it means your silence is doing what your words never could. You didn't disappear. You became undeniable. And that realization is exactly what she's struggling to accept right now. My beloved child, something is unfolding beneath the surface, and it's far more intense than it appears. After the anger settles, after the frustration has nowhere else to go, a deeper emotion begins to rise. She starts asking herself questions she never allowed before. Why did your absence feel heavier than expected? Why did life feel louder without you in it? Don't skip, because this is the phase where realization quietly replaces rage. She may act unaffected on the outside, but internally, she is retracing every step, every word, every moment she assumed you would always be there. What she is experiencing now is the collapse of certainty. She thought distance would weaken you, yet it strengthened your resolve. That contrast unsettles her. Stay till the end, because this is not about missing conversations or routines. It's about losing the version of you who was always reachable. Your silence disrupted the narrative she had written in her mind. And when a story changes without warning, it forces people to confront their own roles in it. This is where reflection begins, and reflection is far more uncomfortable than anger. Here is the revelation that changes everything: your absence became the lesson. Not a punishment, not a tactic, but a consequence. She is beginning to understand that access to you was a privilege, not a guarantee. Don't skip this moment. Because something huge is forming here. When someone realizes too late that your presence brought balance to their world, the anger fades into awareness. And awareness marks the point where the story no longer belongs to her expectations, but to your growth and what comes next for you. There is a quiet turning point happening now, and most people miss it because it doesn't look dramatic on the surface. Her anger has nowhere left to land, so it turns inward. She begins to notice the gaps you left behind, the places where your presence once softened her days. Ordinary moments suddenly feel incomplete. Conversations feel shallow. Nights feel longer. Don't skip this, because this is where the real impact of your absence finally settles in. She isn't just mad anymore, she's unsettled, and that feeling is far harder to escape. What she is facing now is the weight of consequences. Not punishment, consequences. She realizes you didn't cut contact to hurt her, but to protect yourself. That truth stings more than blame ever could. Stay till the end, because this part matters. She starts to see that your silence was not weakness, not avoidance, but clarity. And clarity forces accountability. The version of you she once knew would have explained, justified, maybe even apologized. But that version didn't return. And the one who replaced it doesn't ask for permission to choose peace. Here is the huge shift you've been waiting for: her anger is transforming into respect, even if she won't admit it yet. Respect for your boundaries. Respect for your self-control. Respect for the strength it took to walk away without making noise. Don't skip this final truth, because it changes how the story ends. When someone gets angry after you cut contact, and then grows quiet, it means your absence taught them something words never could. You didn't lose her attention. You changed how she sees you forever. And that awareness is the moment where your power fully returns to you. My beloved child, what follows now is the phase almost no one talks about, because it happens in silence. After anger fades and awareness settles, she starts measuring time differently. Days feel heavier because your absence has become consistent, not temporary. She begins to understand that this is not a pause, it's a decision. Don't skip, because this realization shifts everything. The space you created is no longer empty, it is filled with your strength, and she feels it every time she expects you to reach out and you don't. She watches from a distance now. Quietly. Carefully. Not to intrude, but to understand. She notices that you are no longer reacting the way you used to, no longer available on demand. Stay till the end, because this is where curiosity replaces anger. She wonders how you found the courage to walk away without drama, how you found peace without closure. That curiosity unsettles her more than conflict ever did. It forces her to confront the fact that your growth didn't require her permission or approval. Here is the final truth of this part, and it's powerful: your silence became self-respect in motion. You showed her that love without boundaries leads to loss, but boundaries without noise lead to power. Don't skip this moment. Something huge is waiting for you right here. When someone stops being angry and starts observing you from afar, it means your absence has shifted the dynamic permanently. You are no longer someone she can predict. And unpredictability, rooted in self-worth, is the strongest position you could ever stand in. My beloved child, now you step into the phase where the energy between you has fully changed, even though no words have been exchanged. She no longer reacts emotionally to your absence. She studies it. She tries to understand how you became so still, so firm, so unreachable. Don't skip, because this is where the power truly settles. Your silence is no longer interpreted as distance, it is interpreted as certainty. And certainty unsettles those who once felt secure in their influence over you. She starts remembering not just moments, but feelings, the calm you brought, the steadiness you offered without asking for credit. Stay till the end, because this realization runs deep. She notices that others do not replace what you were. Conversations feel hollow. Attention feels temporary. What she lost was not just you, but the version of herself that felt anchored when you were present. That understanding carries weight, and weight changes how people think, move, and act. Here is the quiet revelation waiting for you: you didn't disappear, you evolved. Your absence became a line she cannot cross without change. Don't skip this final truth, because it defines what happens next. When someone stops being angry, stops questioning, and starts respecting your distance, it means your boundary has rewritten the dynamic forever. You are no longer reacting to the past. You are standing in your future. And that is the moment your silence becomes your strongest voice. My beloved child, there comes a moment when the noise fully dies down, and what remains is truth. This is that moment. She no longer feels the urge to confront you or provoke a response. Instead, she sits with the understanding that your absence is intentional and complete. Don't skip, because this is where acceptance quietly begins. Not acceptance of losing you, but acceptance of the fact that you chose yourself, and that choice cannot be undone by emotion alone. She begins to recognize patterns she once ignored. The times you showed up without being asked. The times you stayed silent to keep peace. Stay till the end, because this reflection is heavy. She realizes you didn't leave suddenly, you left after understanding. And that difference matters. It shifts the story from, you walked away, to, you outgrew the situation. That awareness carries humility, and humility changes the way people remember you. Here is the final shift of this part. You are no longer associated with conflict in her mind, you are associated with growth. Don't skip this truth, something huge is forming here. When someone connects your absence with their own need to evolve, it means you became a turning point in their life. You didn't need to speak. You didn't need to explain. Your silence did the work. And now, whether paths cross again or not, you stand as the moment that changed everything. My beloved child, now the story enters its most revealing stage, because clarity has replaced confusion. She understands that your silence is not a phase, not a tactic, not a test. It is a boundary that has settled into place. Don't skip, because this realization alters how she feels about you at the deepest level. The anger is gone. The questions have quieted. What remains is respect mixed with a trace of regret, and that combination is powerful. She begins to speak of you differently, even when you are not present. Not with bitterness, not with blame, but with careful words. Stay till the end, because this matters more than you think. When someone guards their language about you, it means they are protecting the truth they finally see. She knows now that you didn't walk away because you stopped caring, you walked away because you started valuing yourself. That understanding reshapes the memory of everything you shared. Here is the revelation waiting for you in this moment. Your absence didn't erase you, it defined you. Don't skip this final truth, something huge is waiting for you right here. When someone reaches this stage, they no longer seek access to you, they honor the space you claimed. And in that honor, your silence becomes legacy. You are remembered not for what you demanded, but for what you chose to protect. My beloved child, this is where the energy finally settles into permanence. Nothing is rushed now. Nothing is forced. She has accepted that your path is no longer intertwined with hers, and that understanding carries a quiet weight. Don't skip. Because this stage reveals the deepest truth of all. When someone stops hoping you will return and starts wishing you well in silence, it means your presence left a mark that cannot be erased. She measures her future with a new awareness. Choices feel different now because she knows what it's like to lose someone who brought balance without demanding attention. Stay till the end, because this awareness shapes her growth. She may never say it out loud, but she knows you were a lesson in strength, patience, and self-respect. And lessons like that don't fade, they settle into the foundation of who someone becomes. Here is the final revelation of this part: you were never meant to stay in a place that required you to shrink. Don't skip this truth, something huge has already happened. By choosing distance, you chose alignment. Your silence didn't end a connection, it completed its purpose. And from this moment forward, you carry not anger, not regret, but clarity, knowing that walking away was not loss, it was transformation. My beloved child, this is the moment where everything finally makes sense, not loudly, not dramatically, but with a calm certainty that settles into your chest. You no longer wonder what she feels or why things unfolded the way they did. The need for answers fades because you have stepped into understanding. Don't skip. Because this clarity is the reward for the silence you held. You see now that cutting contact was not an escape, it was a decision rooted in self-respect. And once self-respect enters the picture, confusion has no place to stay. She feels it too, even if she never names it. The distance between you is no longer tense, it's defined. She knows where the line is, and more importantly, she knows why it exists. Stay till the end, because this is where the emotional imbalance fully corrects itself. You are no longer reacting to her emotions, and she is no longer influencing your peace. That shift is powerful. It means you've stepped out of a cycle and into stability. The version of you that once waited for validation is gone, replaced by someone who trusts their own judgment. Here is the truth that seals this chapter: nothing is missing anymore. Don't skip this, because something huge has already happened. You chose alignment over attachment, and that choice changed the outcome of everything. Whether she thinks of you with regret, respect, or quiet admiration no longer controls your direction. Your silence did not leave a void, it created space for growth, strength, and forward movement. And from this point on, every step you take is lighter, clearer, and fully your own. My beloved child, this is the part where the story no longer belongs to the past at all. You wake up one day and realize her emotions are no longer echoing inside you. The weight you once carried has lifted without you noticing the exact moment it happened. Don't skip, because this freedom is subtle, and that's what makes it real. You didn't need closure from her. You became your own closure by choosing peace over chaos. She may still think of you from time to time, but it no longer defines either of you. Stay till the end, because this is important. When two paths separate and only one person grows lighter, it's a sign that the decision was necessary. You are no longer replaying scenarios, no longer wondering what you should have said differently. Silence has done its work. It created distance, and in that distance, you found yourself again. Here is the final truth of this part, and it is powerful: you outgrew the version of the story that kept you small. Don't skip this, something huge has already shifted. You are no longer defined by who left, who stayed, or who got angry. You are defined by the calm you protect and the direction you choose. And from here forward, your life moves not in reaction to the past, but in alignment with who you have become. My beloved child, this is the stage where peace stops feeling unfamiliar and starts feeling natural. You no longer brace yourself for messages that won't come or reactions you don't need. The space around you feels steady, grounded, and intentional. Don't skip, because this calm didn't arrive by accident. It was built, moment by moment, every time you chose not to reach back into something that once drained you. What once felt like emptiness has quietly transformed into clarity, and clarity has a strength of its own. She senses this shift even from a distance. Not through words, not through updates, but through the absence of energy between you. Stay till the end, because this matters. When someone realizes they can no longer disturb your inner balance, it changes how they perceive you forever. She understands now that your silence is not waiting, it's moving on. And that realization carries a finality that no argument ever could. You didn't harden your heart, you strengthened your boundaries, and boundaries create safety where chaos once lived. Here is the truth that settles everything: you are no longer defined by the connection you ended, but by the stability you created. Don't skip this, something huge has already anchored itself inside you. You trust yourself now. You trust your decisions, your timing, your intuition. The past no longer pulls at you because you are rooted in the present. And from this place of calm certainty, your future opens quietly, confidently, without needing anyone's permission to unfold. My beloved child, this is where wisdom quietly replaces emotion. You don't feel the need to explain your past or justify your distance. You understand now that not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Don't skip, because this understanding is rare. It took silence, restraint, and courage to arrive here. You didn't lose a connection, you gained discernment, and discernment changes how you choose people, time, and energy going forward. She may reflect on you as someone who changed the way she understands loss and boundaries. Stay till the end, because this matters more than you think. When someone learns from your absence, your impact extends beyond presence. You became an example without trying to be one. Your quiet strength showed that walking away can be an act of self-respect, not rejection. And that lesson stays with people longer than arguments ever do. Here is the closing truth of this part: you are no longer searching for validation outside yourself. Don't skip this, something huge has already settled. You know who you are without needing reflection from anyone else. Your peace is no longer fragile, it's established. And from this place, every future connection will meet you at your level, not below it. My beloved child, this is the chapter where your growth becomes visible, not through words, but through presence. You move differently now. You respond slower, choose carefully, and protect your energy without guilt. Don't skip, because this shift is everything. The silence that once felt heavy has refined you. It taught you patience, self-trust, and the power of restraint. What you learned in distance is now shaping how you stand in the world. She notices it if your paths ever cross again, not through conversation, but through contrast. Stay till the end, because this contrast speaks louder than explanations ever could. You are no longer available for emotional chaos. You don't need to prove your worth or explain your choices. That calm confidence is not learned from books or advice, it is earned through experience. And it changes how people treat you, even when nothing is said. Here is the truth that completes this part: you are no longer defined by who walked away or who stayed behind. Don't skip this, something huge has fully taken root. You are defined by the standards you uphold and the peace you protect. The past did not break you, it clarified you. And from this grounded place, your future relationships, choices, and paths align naturally with who you have become. My beloved child, this is the moment where confidence settles in quietly, without needing validation or applause. You no longer feel the urge to look back and measure what was lost. Instead, You recognize what was gained: clarity, strength, and a deeper respect for yourself. Don't skip, because this inner stability is the reward most people never reach. You earned it by choosing silence when reaction was easier, and peace when attachment was tempting. She may still carry a version of you in her thoughts, but it no longer affects your direction. Stay till the end, because this separation is now complete on an energetic level. When two people disconnect and only one continues to grow, it confirms the necessity of the distance. You are no longer tied to old patterns or emotional loops. The version of you that once tolerated confusion has been replaced by someone who values alignment over intensity. Here is the truth that anchors this part. You are standing in self-trust. Don't skip this: something huge has already aligned within you. You trust your instincts, your timing, and your decisions without needing reassurance. The silence you chose did not isolate you, it strengthened you. And from this place of calm certainty, you move forward, not reacting to the past, but intentionally creating what comes next. My beloved child, this is the stage where your future begins to respond to who you have become. Opportunities feel clearer. Decisions feel lighter. You are no longer dragged by emotional weight that once slowed your steps. Don't skip, because this freedom was not accidental. It was created the moment you chose yourself and held that choice without explanation. Silence taught you direction, and direction now guides you forward with confidence. She remains a closed chapter, not out of bitterness, but out of understanding. Stay till the end, because this distinction matters. You don't revisit what no longer aligns, and you don't reopen doors that taught you why they needed to close. That maturity is powerful. It means you've learned to honor endings without needing to relive them. And that skill protects your peace in ways nothing else can. Here is the truth that defines this part: you are no longer healing, you are living. Don't skip this: something huge has already shifted. The past no longer needs your attention because the present holds your focus. You walk forward grounded, aware, and intentional. And from this place, everything you build carries the strength of someone who knows when to stay and when to walk away. My beloved child, this is where momentum quietly replaces effort. You no longer push yourself to move on, you simply are. Your days unfold with intention, not resistance. Don't skip, because this ease is earned. It's the natural result of choosing alignment over attachment. The silence you kept didn't create distance from life, it created space for it. And in that space, you discovered how capable you truly are when your energy is no longer divided. She exists now as a reference point, not a pull. Stay till the end, because this distinction marks maturity. You remember without longing, reflect without regret. What once felt intense now feels instructive. You can see the lesson clearly: you were meant to learn self-respect, not sacrifice it. That realization reshapes how you enter every room, how you listen, how you choose. You don't rush connections anymore, you recognize them by how calm they feel. Here is the truth that completes this stage: you have direction. Not because someone stayed, but because you did. Don't skip this: something huge has settled into place. You trust the pace of your life, the quiet confidence of your choices, and the strength of your boundaries. The past no longer competes with your future. And from here, every step you take carries purpose, stability, and a deep sense of self that cannot be shaken. My beloved child, this is the stage where your presence becomes enough. No explanation, no justification, no defense. You walk into your days with a grounded calm that wasn't there before. Don't skip, because this calm is powerful. It is the kind that comes only after you stop negotiating with your own worth. The silence you chose refined you, and now your energy speaks before you ever say a word. She may remember you as someone who changed the way she understands connection. Stay till the end, because this matters. You showed her that access is earned, not assumed, and that lesson reshapes how people relate long after paths separate. You didn't demand respect, you demonstrated it. And demonstration lasts longer than words ever could. Here is the truth that defines this part. You are no longer waiting for life to happen. Don't skip this, something huge is already in motion. You are building, choosing, moving with intention. The chapter you closed made room for one that aligns with who you are now. And from this place of quiet strength, your future unfolds naturally, guided not by reaction, but by purpose. My beloved child, this is where inner authority fully awakens. You no longer second-guess the decision you made or revisit the emotions that once clouded your judgment. The path behind you feels complete, not because it ended perfectly, but because it ended honestly. Don't skip, because this certainty is rare. It means you stopped outsourcing your peace and started owning it. The silence you maintained matured into confidence, and confidence no longer asks for permission to exist. She may sense this distance as final, not in a painful way, but in a settled one. Stay till the end, because this realization marks true closure. When someone understands they can no longer influence your emotional state, the connection transforms into memory. And memory, when free of attachment, becomes wisdom. You don't need to erase the past to move forward, you simply place it where it belongs, behind you, without weight, without charge. Here is the truth that anchors this part. You have reclaimed your center. Don't skip this, something huge has already solidified within you. You trust your boundaries, honor your timing, and move with clarity. Nothing pulls you backward anymore because you are rooted in who you are now. The chapter you closed gave you direction, and the direction you chose is leading you toward stability, peace, and a future that feels aligned the moment you step into it. My beloved child, this is where the lesson turns into legacy. You no longer carry the story with tension or emotion, you carry it with understanding. The silence you chose has finished its work, and what remains is strength that doesn't announce itself. Don't skip, because this calm is the proof. You are no longer reacting, proving, or defending. You are simply living in alignment with what you know is right for you. That alignment creates a steady rhythm in your life, one that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. She exists now only as a chapter that shaped you, not one that defines you. Stay till the end, because this distinction matters more than anything before it. You can look back without tightening your chest. You can remember without wanting to return. That means you've integrated the lesson fully. You learned when to speak, when to stay, and when to walk away. Most people never reach this point because they confuse attachment with meaning. You didn't. You understood that meaning can remain even after connection ends. Here is the final truth of this journey: you chose yourself, and that choice changed everything. Don't skip this. Something huge has already completed itself within you. You are no longer shaped by who got angry, who stayed silent, or who failed to understand you. You are shaped by the peace you now protect and the direction you move in with confidence. This is not an ending filled with loss. It is a conclusion filled with clarity. And from this place, whatever comes next meets you whole, grounded, and fully in your power. My beloved child, this is the moment where everything finally settles into truth. Not a dramatic ending, not a sudden return, just a quiet knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. The distance you chose did not create emptiness, it created alignment. You feel it now in the way your mind is calm, in the way your heart no longer races for answers that never came. Don't skip, because this realization is the reward. You didn't lose her by cutting contact. You found yourself by honoring what you could no longer ignore. She may still carry emotions, memories, questions, but they no longer belong to you. Stay till the end, because this is important. When you stop carrying what isn't yours, your life becomes lighter without effort. You don't need closure conversations, explanations, or apologies. Your peace is the closure. The chapter ended the moment you chose self-respect over familiarity. That decision reshaped your identity in ways words never could. You are no longer the person who waits, hopes, or wonders. You are the person who knows. Here is the final truth, and it is powerful: cutting contact was not an ending, it was a beginning. Something huge has already happened inside you. You learned that silence can be strength, that walking away can be wisdom, and that peace is worth protecting at all costs. This story no longer continues because it has completed its purpose. You step forward now grounded, clear, and unshaken. Whatever comes next will meet a version of you that is whole, steady, and fully aligned with your worth.